Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it will be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! A few years back, I had my identity stolen, right in the middle of a mental health crisis. I was already stressed out and overwhelmed by life, and the identity theft just made everything worse. Suddenly, randomly, purchases like iPhones and laptops were showing up on my bills. Purchases I had never made. The identity thief opened credit cards with my identity, bank accounts, you name it. The authorities were of no help. I felt very alone in this twisted game of whack-a-mole, where every time I thought I had fixed one problem, another popped up. I even had a rental car company come after me, as a thief had rented a car in my name and then stolen it. Of course, this was a blow to my credit as well, and resolving the whole thing was enormously stressful. Eventually, I have frozen my accounts, contested the charges, cancelled the credit cards, and followed all the appropriate steps. All that was left to do was close the fraudulent bank account. When I went to do so, however, I was met with a snag. I explained the situation to the bank, which was not a bank I personally used, and requested they close the account. They told me that they could not just delete the account, however, as there was still money in it, approximately $800, which would need to be withdrawn. I explained that that wasn't technically my money, and they replied that the account could not be closed with the money remaining inside. An account that I opened, in which I Corvidias put my money. So guess who's $800 richer? After all the identity thief took from me, it seemed like appropriate recompense and only fair to take a little something back. It. Wow, I've never had a post gain traction like this before. I'm also so glad that my nightmare experience has given rise to a dialogue about how to better protect yourself against identity theft. If sharing my experience can prevent others from having to go through what I did, then something good will have come from the whole miserable thing after all. Hey guys, it's Crown. Hope you're doing well. I started a brand new channel called That One Story. It'll mostly include stories coming from different subreddits, but will definitely include some entitled people getting their comeuppance. I'll leave the link in the description below, so please subscribe to the channel to listen to the latest stories, cause I'll make sure to post videos on a daily basis. Thank you and have a great day. A little background. My dad used to work in a thermal power plant, and we used to live in an engineer's colony. The government gave the colony 7 buses to transport the children to and from the different schools. The school I went to had the most students, and hence 2 buses were booked for us. Still wasn't enough, as many had to stand the whole journey of 15 kilometers. So the 2 buses were used to travel students from nursery to 12th grade. Now there was this entitled mother and her 11th standard entitled daughter who weren't from my school, but also used this bus, as this mom and daughter were teacher and student, respectively, in another school which was close to our own. Since these were the only 2 people going there, no bus was assigned to them. During summer, the temperature in my state is nearly 15 Celsius, and as you can imagine, we used to fight with each other during the return journey. One more thing, my school at the time was completely a boys' school. The mom and daughter used to get on one of the buses after they picked us up. Now onto the story. That was the final day of the term and we were happily returning home to start preparing for vacation. I ran nearly 500 meters to get onto one of the buses to get a window seat. Sometime later we reached the mom and the daughter's school. The daughter got on and saw the tiny timid me on the front window seat, and she said, "Get up!" Why? Get up! No. Her mom got on and saw her daughter arguing with me. She told you to get up. Why are you still sitting? Because it's my seat. I ran an entire field to get this. Ask someone else. Now they didn't want to do that because all the window seats were occupied by 12 standard guys and they didn't want to get into confrontations. So no way our entitled dude would ask them, "What's your dad's name?" "Why, do you want to complain? Go ahead. I'm not moving." The mom then proceeds to yank me out by grabbing my arm. Sadly, she didn't know I was a jerk. I will pinch her palm to get out of her grip. If looks could kill, I would have been evaporated by her. She later complained to my dad, her husband, my school principal, and the bus committee. However, after investigations and testimonies by amazing seniors, both of them got banned from ever traveling the two buses. I am a grocery store cashier for a very small chain in southeastern Michigan. For 6 hours a day, 4 days a week, I ring order after order of groceries. Believe me, it gets monotonous. About a week or two ago, it was a super busy day. I have been going non-stop for 2 hours, with no time between customers. That's when, during the short 5-minute lull that miraculously arrived, Karen came along. And I went through my usual spiel. "Hi, how are you? Paper or plastic?" and so on. I started ringing her groceries. She had a lot of fruits and veggies, which is cool, better than some of the things I have to ring. Don't ask, seriously. And then came the grapes. Now don't get me wrong, I love grapes, sweet, crunchy, tart, and they don't require really any prep before you can eat them. Yum! No, my issue was that large spider that was in a bag with the grapes. I have a serious spider phobia. When I was a kid, the spider, no idea which kind, we were on a family hiking trip through a nearby nature trail when it happened. It bit me on the arm. And over the course of a few days, my parents just thought it was a mosquito bite at first. It swelled up into a big, hard lump the size of a softball. I still vividly remember the night they finally realized that they needed to take action and rushed me to the nearest hospital ER. It was traumatizing. Ever since I cannot see a spider without shrieking and freezing up. Any other bugs in the house, no problem. I see a spider, one of my brothers has to come rescue me. So after you can imagine, the large bag of grape spider did not go over well. I managed to mostly quell the shriek. Instead, letting out a strangled yelp, and jolted back from the register an offending bag, and refused to touch it again until the spider was very dead. My grocery store is one of those that still has a separate bagger shop, so I wasn't alone at the register. The very nice kid who was my current bagger was kind enough to come around and remove the spider-infested sack of fruit. I went to get Karen a new bag. I apologized and started to scan again, and as soon as he left, the ridicule began. "It was just a spider. Why did you freak out? Are you seriously telling me that a grown woman had to have a teenage boy rescue her from an itsy-bitsy spider? How pathetic. Just get over it. It was the size of a pea at best. I carried that bag all the way over here. I'm scared of spiders and I was just fine. You shouldn't have had an issue swiping it and moving on for 5 seconds." And so on and so forth. Meanwhile, I just had to sit there and smile at her. As soon as he came back, she shut up, smiled, and complimented him, saying, "Such a nice young man." And that was where I decided to get bitty. Now in my store, products are rung one of two ways. It might be the same everywhere, I don't know, but anyway. It is either rung by count or by weight. So we have a scale built into the register to weigh items. Grapes are priced with weight. So I went ahead and dropped the nice new spider-free bag on the scale. And while I typed in the product code, I made sure to ever so stealthily placed my thumb on that scale and apply the slightest bit of pressure, magically turning 2 pounds 7 ounces into 4 pounds 2 ounces. And at almost $4 per pound. It made a difference. Mind you, Karen had a huge order, so that pound 7 ounces didn't that noticeably affect the total. But if Karen was going to mock me like that, then turn around like she'd done nothing wrong and praise my co-worker, she was going to have to pay for it. And pay for it she did. I would like to note that I was very grateful for my beggar's help, and I wasn't upset over the fact that he was praised, as I did my fair share of it after she left. It was the two-faced nature of the mockery then praise that caused my frustration. Anyone who works retail knows that shoplifting is a major problem. Depending on the company, how and when you can confront a shoplifter can vary. I'm a shift supervisor for a retail drugstore chain. This particular day, one of the employees unlocks the bathroom for a kid who looked to be about 10. A moment later, she hears paper ripping through the bathroom door. She could not enter due to her being female and a customer in the men's bathroom. After the boy leaves, the employee enters the men's bathroom and finds an empty Pokemon card box. She reports the box to me and points out the kid in the pharmacy was his mom. Due to the circumstances, I feel the proper criteria and requirements have not been met for me to report the boy to his mom. The company has some pretty strict policy about confronting shoplifters and has fired people for not following policy. I will not mention the policy here. However, I tell the employee that we were going to guilt the boy. If he's innocent, our plan will have no effect on him. If he is guilty, he's going to hurt. Part of work in retail is to casually approach customers asking if they need help. I notice the boy and his mom browsing the vitamin aisle. I give the employee the box and tell her to go give them the casual customer service. The employee does it, and the boy freaks out, quickly saying they are fine and don't need anything. You could hear the fright in the boy's voice. I then see the boy and his mom in pharmacy. The mom is on her phone with what sounds like her insurance company. This usually means she's here to pick a prescription, but there is a problem with the insurance. They will be here for a few hours. My main task that morning was inventory. I will be walking all over the store for a few hours with my handheld finding and counting certain items. We also have a device that plays security messages over the intercom. Press a button and a certain security message will play. We press it whenever we see a potential shoplifter and randomly every 15 to 30 minutes to scare away potential shoplifters. I decided to carry that device along with the empty box with me. I go along doing my inventory. Whenever I walk past a boy, I make sure the box is in my hand closest to him. Sometimes I spin it on my finger. I wait the 15 to 30 minutes to press the security button, but I wait as I'm approaching the boy to press it. Every time the boy sees me, he gets the look of fright on his face. After about an hour, I see the boy whining to his mom about him being bored and when are they going to leave. The mom hands him some cash to buy some snacks, and I inform my front cashier about the boy and hand him a Pokemon toy. The cashier places it on the counter, appearing as if a customer just left it there. When the cashier is ringing the boy up, he accidentally picks up the toy and asks the boy if it's his. The boy says no. And the cashier later told me that the boy turned pale white and started shaking just at the mention of the word Pokemon. After buying his snacks, the boy is really pulling his mom's leg, wanting to get out of the store. The mom tells him she's busy and to please sit down and enjoy his snacks. The boy is doing everything possible to avoid seeing me. After 2 hours on the phone, the mom is finally able to get her prescription. The boy is walking as fast as he can without running. He wants out of the store. I don't know what happened to the boy afterwards, but I hope he learned his lesson about stealing and will never do it again. I was in a long-term relationship that went south. My ex was a manipulative narcissist who did everything he could to screw me over financially and gaslight me when we split up and moved to our own places. He had an eviction under his name, so our apartment lease and utilities were all under my name. For the last months we lived together, he pocketed the utility money and didn't pay the utilities. So when I got my own place, I had to pay off the past due amounts. Meanwhile, I had removed him as an authorized user from my bank account and told him to do the same with his accounts because I didn't want a single financial link between us remaining. Coincidentally, I lost my debit card after moving out on my own, and when I went to the bank to get a new one issued, I discovered he had not removed my name as an authorized user from his bank account. He only had about $35 to his name, but I transferred his last $35 to my account and closed it. All above board and legal. It didn't begin to cover what he owed me, but when he called to tell me what an awful person I was because he had multiple checks bounce and his direct deposit was in limbo, it made the debt all worth it. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.